last time you was here, you was talking about the strategy of looking at ETFs and like picking the top. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So like I said, what I subscribe to is the satellite theory, right? And so the people that put together these ETFs, they're way smarter than me. And they come up with what their top 10 holdings are, right? So for example, let's take QQQ just because it's on my mind and my name starts with Q. You look at the top 10 holdings, right? It's Apple, it's Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, both shares of Google, I think NVIDIA, Adobe, PayPal. I'm almost positive. That's what it is. And Tesla. Tesla's in there. Tesla's like number 5, right? And so these guys have made this allocation for a reason. I think it makes up something roughly around 56 or 58% of the portfolio. Again, don't quote me, but significant chunk of it. So if I bought QQQ and I got exposure to it and I believe in the portfolio, now is a time where I look in the top 10 holdings or even in the actual holdings, sometimes based on price. Everybody can't afford different things. I want to own some of those companies because the guys who are smarter than me put them together to make money. They didn't put those portfolios together to lose money. So for example, if I own Apple and Microsoft and I own QQQ, what that allows me to do is in that portfolio of the NASDAQ 100, you're going to get some of the laggards. You're going to get some of the losers who are going to drag performance. Apple and Microsoft are at the top for a reason. They are bellwethers at what they do. They make money, right? And so if I own those as stocks and I own QQQ, I'm going to gain some of that upside that I lost from the laggards, and it allows me to invest in premium companies. I want to invest in premium companies because premium companies buy me time. What do I mean? If you jumped in the market and you bought DraftKings, you're sick right now. You are sick right now. Why? Because when things get tight, luxury items go. That is a luxury item. That is not a staple or a bellwether. So when I look at my portfolio, I want premium. Premium buys me time. I can never get time back. Time is irreplaceable. So now I don't have to watch my portfolio. My money's over there. Now I'm looking for my next pivot. Where am I investing my profits? When I get some money, where am I putting this money at? I'm now allowed to do research and figure out, okay, what's my next play, right? And let's say sports, for example. I always think about sports. People love Jordan, but don't work hard. I never understood that. Like, yo, I love Mike, but like you don't work hard. So it's like, yo, how could you love Mike? And every time you argue about LeBron, yo, but you had the killer instinct, but you don't have the killer instinct, my friend. So why do you love it? Right? And Tom Brady is in year 35. And he's not going to retire. He's going to be 55 years old. Just taking what the defense gives him. When you get in the market, just take what the market gives you. If the market gives me XLY, and that's my way of getting exposure to Amazon, well, that's 22% of the portfolio. Then I look at the top 10, I go, okay, so you're going to give me Amazon, you're going to give me Home Depot, Lowe's, McDonald's, Starbucks, Nike, Dollar General, Bookings, Target, and I think TJ Maxx is the top 10.
Like, can we just talk about how impressive that is? Because in my head, I'm running them off like, he going to miss one. Yo, you didn't miss one.
Yo, listen, man, that's what I do.
That's crazy. Love the process.
Yo,
this is what I do.
Yo, he didn't miss one.
So like, if you're thinking about that, right, it's like I would own all those companies independently. And so if you're going to say that makes up 68.32% of the portfolio, again, don't quote me, but I think it's 68.3, somewhere around there, right? I don't care about the other 32%, but it's still, there's just Chipotle in there and there's some other stuff that's great, right? But
Chipotle.
I get to own that. It gives me a reason to go own some Nike stock when I have some money, or to go own some McDonald's or some Home Depot. All these companies made money through COVID. What do you think they're going to do when this is over? 18 months from now, when this is in our rearview mirror, and these guys have been stacking cash, and these guys have been making money through a pandemic, what do you think they're going to do after? It's about positioning and boxing out. I played ball growing up, right? You need inside position to get the rebound. Right now is your inside position to get the rebound, but you have to stick to your fundamentals. And if you don't, you're going to lose. It's not about being smart or not being smart. It's about opportunity cost, right? So if I go to the vending machine and I'm hungry and something costs $1, and I'm like, all right, well, if it don't taste good, never had it before, I'll get it. It's $1. If I don't like it, I'll throw it out. But if it costs $5, now we got to think about it. 'Cause I'm not about to spend $5 on something that I don't know how it tastes, right? And it goes to the market. The people who bought Zoom in January and February, they may have not been smarter than you or more intelligent. They just have more money to take more risk and take more opportunity costs. As a retail investor, you don't have that luxury. So you need to get in the form of, let me take my profits and gamble, not let me take my base and gamble. So I bring up the DraftKings thing because it ran, right? It went from like 16 all the way to like 62, right?
Yep.
And I know mad people, oh, yo, it's the next big thing and this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah.
You know anybody that brought DraftKings? Who in their right mind would do that?
Yo, I already told you, man. I'm in a great.
That was a trade.
But it's more so. I bring it up more so because there are people who bought it at 50.
Yeah.
There are people who bought it at 52, right? Thinking that the stock market will only go up and not realizing that, okay, yes, there will be legalized gambling. Yes, these things are going to happen. Yes, they have significant market share. Right. Yes, there's a lot of positives, but it is a luxury item in the stock market. And when bills get tight, we got to cut them luxuries, right? When money gets tight, ain't no more eating out. We're going to do what we got in the crib. So I think people need to, when you start to formulate your thoughts on, okay, let me look at ETFs, quality ETFs that make sense, that have great returns. Check the 1 year, the 3 year, the 5 year, the performance, right? Check the expense ratio. Is an expensive ETF, right? We like Vanguard. Why? It's a passive ETF, low expense ratios. Now, if you jump into an ARC, that's going to be more expensive. It's an actively traded ETF. But again, what's in that top 10 holdings? What's in the overall holdings? What am I investing in? And then what do I like? Like cloud, for example, right? Like I like, is it CLOU?
Yep.
Love that ETF. Why? Because there's companies in the top 10 that I would own outright. So if I cannot afford to own those companies, let me go get some of that at 26 or 25 or $28 a share until I can afford to own some of those companies that are in there independently.
You know, there's a guy who's sitting at the table who told his friends to invest in cloud in August. None of them listen to him.
They didn't listen. Yo, I'm not gonna front. I think I stumbled on somebody told me about it, and I looked. I'm like, yo, how don't I know about this? And it's just there's so many good ETFs out there. Yeah. Depending on again what you want to invest in, how you invest, what your risk tolerance is, and it just comes down to sticking to your plan and watching your plan matriculate into these shares and watching these shares matriculate into wealth.
When you're going through your research stack, what will make you say this isn't a good company to invest in? Like, what are like 3 or 4 things you're looking at that would make you stay away from it?
For me, so before I even get to like the actual like fundamentals or technical, I'm very big on critical thinking. I think that critical thinking is not something that we're taught. When we go to school, raise your hand, right? Write this essay, do this. You know, you follow directions. People buy gas every day and never wonder why the gas price changed. You just go fill it up. I think that I start asking questions. How do they make money? Where do they make money? Who's their competition? Just from that, it's going to start to spur questions. And the more questions I ask myself, I'm either going to get further away from the ETF or the stock, or I'm going to get closer and deeper into the research. And so when I start to ask those questions, well, who's in their lane? Like who could potentially stop them from getting money? Right? And then how do they make money? Where do they source their money? What's their strength? What's their weakness? That's going to let me know if I should delve deeper into the company.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.